everybody, and welcome to my new podcast, Conversations That Connect Us, Her Side of the Story. And I'm really excited to be back in front of the microphone, and I'm super excited about having my very first guest on the new podcast, Joanne Oscar. Hello, Joanne. How are you?
Good. How are you, Jennifer?
I'm good. So thank you so much for joining us. And I want to tell you how Joanne and I met. Now, I don't know if a lot of you are on LinkedIn. I get connection requests, and I'm sure Joanne does, a couple hundred times a week. People want to connect with you, which is great. I mean, I understand it's an online community, but a lot of times, as soon as you connect with somebody, they want to try to sell you something. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I understand. I like the initiative that some people have, but I always read about who the person is who is trying to connect with me. I don't know if you're like that, Joanne, or not, but I'm just all about that. Right. And one of the things that when you had sent a connection request to me that just kind of sucked me in right away is that you had a passion for helping women. And I was like, that's it. We're going to connect. I don't know what it's going to look like, but anybody else who has a passion for helping women, like I have a passion for helping women, I really think that there needs to be a connection, whether or not it goes anywhere. But, you know, at least to know that there's other people out there, we're kindred spirits, we're trying to help other women. So that, just so you know, is what drew me into you. And you have a story that's very similar to a lot of stories of clients that I have, you know, whether they come in and they find me in the consulting space or they become a coaching client, they have very similar stories. And, you know, some of them are concerned about, you know, I hate living paycheck to paycheck. There has to be more out there that I can do. There has to be something else better for me. Or they are actively working, maybe have a corporate life, or they're, you know, they're a business owner and they're just really trying to find a work-life balance. So when we got to know each other a little bit better, I was like, what better person to have come on and kind of share her story? Because there are stories that you're going to resonate with probably hundreds of people who watch this. And that's great. So that, you know, I mean, it's almost like that validation that we're not out here trying to trek through life on our own. So I'm just going to spend some time asking some questions and getting to know you so that our community can have a better opportunity to get to know you. So does that sound like a good deal?
Sounds great. Thank you
Perfect.
So much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Well, absolutely. Well, tell me a little bit about you. Tell me about, you know, what you do and how you got into the business and where you're located.
Okay.
You know, I'd love to hear more about that.
Awesome. So I am in Plymouth, Massachusetts. I grew up in Pennsylvania, but I'm here in Massachusetts with my 2 daughters and my husband. And my business is called Better Skin, Better Life with Jo. And I'm a brand ambassador for the number one premium anti-aging regimen brand in North America. And when I got introduced to these products, I was having a really hard time with my skin. I have something called melasma. Do you know what that is?
Mm-mm.
So it's a hormonal thing with women. Some women get it when they're pregnant. I wasn't pregnant. I was on birth control pills. So it was like a hormonal thing. But when you go out into the sun, when you're unprotected, you'll get dark splotches on your face.
No, I've never heard of that.
And this started coming out on my skin. And I was always really good about going out in the sun. Like I put sunblock on my face when I was like going to the beach or the pool or like going to be outside all day. But I didn't necessarily put it on every day, like 365 days a year, because before I knew better that you should actually do that. So like a couple weeks before my wedding, and I was at the time I was like, I had just graduated from veterinary school. I was getting ready for my wedding and these dark blotches started to come out of my face. And I was like horrified because it was like right before my wedding. I wasn't the kind of person that wore like foundation or anything. So I'm like frantically trying to like figure out how to cover this up. Anyway, so I have this melasma. So now fast forward, you know, I didn't find anything at the time for that. I went to the dermatologist, it kind of helped it, but not great. But then when I was in my 40s, I was just basically would wear a hat every day, put sunblock on every day. So I was struggling with melasma. I was struggling with hormonal acne. So once a month, my skin would break out. I had dry skin and now I'm in my 40s. So I'm concerned about aging skin. So I had all these problems and a friend introduced me to these products and they truly transformed my skin. And I fell in love with them. I was like, I found my holy grail of skincare. Like I can throw out everything else, you know, I'm hooked. So, but when she told me that I could start a business with them, I wasn't really interested at first. I had every excuse in the book. I didn't have enough time. At the time, I would have considered myself an introvert. You know, I didn't have a sales background. I was like, this is not something that I'm into. But the more I learned about the products and the business and the founders of the company, who actually their mission was to help empower women to create successful businesses of their own. You know, once I learned all this, I was like, this is smart business. Like, this is a company that's going somewhere. I really should at least give it a try. You know, if it doesn't work out, fine, but at least give it a try. So, you know, I stepped out of my comfort zone and I decided to give it a go, basically.
And you're loving it, obviously, and your skin looks great.
Thank you.
Well, now, when we had first connected, we really talked about the mutual kind of, you know, mission that we had for empowering women. And tell me, and tell the people that are watching, how this business helps you do that.
Yeah. So I really love helping, you know, empowering women in general, but I really do love helping women who are struggling living paycheck to paycheck, because I used to really struggle living paycheck to paycheck. When I was back in my 20s, and my husband and I, we weren't married at the time, but we lived in Southern California. It was expensive. I had 2 jobs. He was like trying to get into the film business. So sometimes he worked, sometimes he didn't. And we really struggled with money. And we got into huge debt. Southern California is an expensive place to live. And we just really weren't making ends meet. And we struggled so much that we ended up having to put our rent on our credit cards, which I never recommend doing. not a good start in life. But so we really got in a lot of debt back in our 20s. And I remember just thinking, like, there has to be something else out there that I could do, like, not like a third job, but like something else I could do to make money and get out of this. Like, this can't be how life is supposed to be, struggling this hard to get ahead. So once I, you know, found this company and realized that's what they were all about, empowering each other. So like, I joined this team, and it was really kind of nice and refreshing, because I had worked in industries, like I was an environmental consultant and I had done other things. And it was, you know, I wouldn't say I was ever in such an empowering community. So when I joined this community, you know, we all supported each other. We all cheered each other on. It was more about helping one another rather than competing, you know? Mm-hmm. So that was really refreshing to me and just amazing, you know? So once I learned that was kind of part of the thing, it wasn't all about just making money or just about skincare. It was also about, you know, like, what do they say? A rising tide raises all ships, or whatever. I'm saying it wrong. But, and, you know, in this economy today, I think I heard recently that, excuse me, the average family is going to need like $5,000 extra this year to kind of live the same lifestyle they lived last year. And so when you look at a company like this, in this industry, in the direct selling industry, you can do that. Like, it can be anything you want it to be, you know? And so if I can help other people, you know, not have struggled like I did, you know, I would love that, basically.
Well, and I think that that's so important, because, you know, the pandemic hit and that shifted so many people, whether they, you know, I had a lot of clients that have either had lost jobs, they were, you know, everything was downsized. They were, you know, they lost family members, they lost, you know, things that were, your total life changed. Like, there's a lot of things that happen that don't directly affect us all, but this did in one way or another, you know? And I think finding those communities, a lot of what it is that I do, I mean, using this podcast, utilizing what I do with the Smart Money Gal, is just to create a sense of community, a sense that you're not out here floating around by yourself. There are other people that have gone through what you've gone through, or have been in a situation like you were in debt and trying to figure out what else is out there for you, like there are more people than just you, and you don't have to kind of go at it alone. And, you know, and bringing up the Smart Money Gal, I get asked a lot, you know, I deal with a lot of divorcees, widows, single moms, new business owners, help me figure out a side hustle, help me find something that I can do to add in to make ends meet, or to get out of this rat race that I'm stuck in. And you had mentioned, I think you had mentioned briefly that you were, a veterinarian, and, is this a side hustle for you? Is this something that you're literally converting your entire energy to? How is that fitting into your life now?
Yeah. So right now it is definitely not my full-time income. So I am a full-time veterinarian. I've been married to my husband for 18 years. We have 2 kids, we have a dog, we have a house, all the things. So, to say that I'm busy is an understatement, and everybody's busy, right? So, like I said, when I was introduced to this, I was like, I don't really have the time for this, but I learned that it's all about the time that you have, being intentional with the time you have and making it work for you. So, I still work full time, and I've been slowly over the last couple of years, and this business has been helping me kind of cut down my veterinary hours so I don't have to work on the weekends as much. Because when I first went into veterinary medicine, I worked, 2 Saturdays a month, 1 Sunday a month. So I worked a lot of weekends. I didn't have kids at the time, so it wasn't a big deal. Then when I had kids, it was more like, I really want my weekends free. So I've been slowly over the last few years cutting down my hours at that full-time job. Whether or not this will be like a full-time thing for me at any point, I'm not really sure. Like, I still am passionate about veterinary medicine. I love helping, animals and people with their pets. But it, during the pandemic, it did kind of burn me out. And we were an industry that was considered essential in the beginning. Well, the whole time we didn't, I never took a day off of work during the pandemic. Like, I know some people were home bored, like organizing their closets. I never got there. My closets are still a mess. But like, a lot of people left our industry during the pandemic, and the Great Resignation, right? A lot of people left a lot of industries. They realized it wasn't their true passion. And so, to answer your question, so it's not my full-time job. It is I consider it my side business, for now. In the future, maybe when I retire, maybe before that, I would like to get down to be part-time hours. Like, I'm slowly kind of getting there. So I think, eventually I'll slowly get to where I want to be. And I think as you go through life, things change, and, so I don't know exactly what the future holds, but I like that it gives me options, because this business, you can work it a few hours a week and make, a few $100s a month, and you can work it more like full-time hours, and you can have like full-time income, and there's everything in between. I personally, I get up 5 days a week. I get up an hour before my family, and that's when I do my business. And then if I have more time, I might add more hours in. So I kind of take a look at my week in the beginning of the week, what can I do this week? And I try to make sure at minimum I have those 5 hours. And that's the time I can do it, because I'm fresher in the morning. If I try to do something when I get home after a full day at the veterinary hospital, I'm kind of like spent and I need to go to bed. So, and some people will stay up late and do it, or some people will do it while their kids nap, so that's what's one of the things that's really nice about it. You can kind of fit it into your life. Yeah, so it's really flexible. And that's one of the things I really love about it.
Well, and if anybody who's watching this connects with you, I have watched the video you sent me probably 10 times. It is hysterical. Like, it is absolutely hysterical. So I'm just encouraging y'all to connect with Joanne and just get to know her a little bit better, but ask her to send you the video. It's absolutely hysterical. And it's so relatable. It's so like, granted, my youngest, my baby is 21, but I can still relate to stepping on Legos and square jar, and it was absolutely hysterical. So I just wanted to say that. But, again, the flexibility. I mean, we live in a lifestyle now where, we've always kind of lived in a life where, it was busy. Everybody was moving fast paced, but now it just feels weird. It just feels different, and I can't begin to tell you how many people that I'm currently working with and coaching who left corporate, weren't living in their flow or didn't find their passion, and the pandemic forced them to kind of have a side hustle or have something to help make up for all the stuff that was going on. And then now inflation hitting and things like that, there has been a mass exodus from a lot of corporate life that people just want to be fulfilled. I've had a very successful career as a financial consultant. You and I have had that conversation, but my heart and passion is coaching, and here I am. I'm not abandoning my consulting career, but I'm adding a coaching career. You know what I mean? You have to get to a point in life where you're following your passions. That's extremely important. And, I had mentioned that I deal with a lot of divorce. Probably 90% of my clientele are divorcees. And a lot of them are coming out in what we call gray divorces, where they've been married 20, 30 years. So that's taken them out of the workforce for 20, 30 years. Some of them may have never entered the workforce. They got married young, raised a family, supported their spouse. And now here they are going through a situation where, okay, I'm divorced now. I have no skills, I'm not marketable. So they're trying to figure out, how are they going to make a life for themselves? And, so is there, in what you're currently doing, is there a skill set? Is it something that anybody, can put the effort into and do? Or tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So that's another great thing about it. You don't really have to have any skills per se. You don't have to have a college degree. You quite frankly don't even need to have a high school diploma. You basically, when you start a business with us, we give you all of the resources, all of the training, all of the support that you need to be successful. So new consultants that come in will get plugged into new consultant training, and then they can kind of go through that at any rate that they want. And then when anybody I bring into the business, I'm there to support them. I'm there to help them, with questions. And it's really a kind of, we say, learn to earn kind of a thing. You don't have to know, you don't have to come in and learn everything about every ingredient and every product that we have to, sell skincare. So we have this cool little tool, this skincare quiz, that you can do it on your phone. You answer a couple questions and it scans a selfie of your face. It will do like an analysis of your skin and it gives you a recommendation. So if you come into the business on day one, you could share this with your mom or your sister or whatever, and you can make a recommendation for them. You don't need to know really anything about the products. As you go, you learn more, but it's so nice because really anybody can do it. And the playing field is leveled, right? So if you come in and you have, a doctorate, or you come in and you have, a high school diploma, you're the same thing. You don't have to have, sales background. You don't have to have, computer knowledge or whatever, because whatever you don't know how to do, wherever your weakness is, there's somebody in the company that's there, can be there to help you. There are resources that you can get to gain that knowledge and be successful. So it really is great because of the flexibility. And also, before you said people left the workforce to find their passion, your passion may not be skincare. And I know a lot of women in this company that basically use this business to fund their passion, right? So they use this so they could leave corporate America and have the money and the flexibility to, there's women that fund orphanages in India, and there's people that, I don't know, do help military wives find jobs, all over the world. And so this doesn't, skincare doesn't have to be your passion. I was passionate about skincare. I was excited about the skincare, but you don't even have to be passionate about that. This can be, a way for you to fund your passion, which is great too. And a lot of people do that. And so we have teachers, doctors, nurses, hairstylists, physical therapists, stay-at-home moms, retirees, people from all walks of life who come into this business and realize what a smart business model is, what a smart product it is, and can be successful with it. And I mean, you can spend, you know, like I said, a few hours a week and, you know, make $500 a month, or you can, you know, spend full-time, you know, hours and replace or, you know, exceed your income that you had before. And I know women in this business on both ends of the spectrum and everywhere in between. So yeah, you really don't have to have anything. We give you everything you need to be successful.
Well, and the good thing is we all have skin. So you know, in one way or another, we all have skin.
And we're all aging all the time.
We're all aging all the time. And you talk about that scanner thing, like I did, I think it was on Facebook or something where it said, find out what your true age is. And I'm like, no, I don't that's not for me. You know, I mean, I get excited when I'm carded. You know, like
yeah.
I go someplace and somebody cards me and I'm like, bless your heart, you're just doing that to make me feel good. My husband will be next to me. My husband's got gray in his beard and they never card him. And I'm like, see, you know, I love that. I just, you know, I'll stay with that forever. But I know you've shared a lot about what you like about the business. You've shared a lot about the flexibility and what it's added into your life. But what do you like the most about the business?
So I would have to say, and it may sound corny, but that it's the person that this business has allowed me to become, because
that's not corny at all. That's fantastic.
I've done a lot of personal development. And before I was introduced to this company, I didn't really do any personal development. I didn't think it was something I needed, or I didn't really know anything about it. And we say a lot in this industry in general that it's personal development with a paycheck. And that's really a great way to put it, because I don't know if you would be, I mean, I guess some people, you know, you come into it wherever you are in life, and maybe you've done personal development before, but it really does help you, personal development in all aspects of your life. So because I was introduced to doing personal development and working on my mindset and working on, you know, just appreciating everything I have in life in general, you know, it's made me a better mom, a better wife, a better veterinarian, and a better business owner. So I think that part of it, I love the most, because even if I never made another cent doing this, I have that. And that's
look at all you gained. Yeah. I mean, that's a tremendous amount. Who doesn't want to become, you know, the best version of themselves and to be confident and, you know, I mean, you were an introvert, proclaimed introvert, and now
right.
You're doing podcasts and you did
right.
a hysterical video and you did like, there's things that you're probably doing that you would have never, ever caught yourself doing. And that's huge. I mean, that's really huge.
Yeah, like, or even a Facebook Live. I remember the first time I did a Facebook Live, I was like,
yeah, you know, it's just kind of like, I think, again, we all suffered through a pandemic that caused a lot of us to change their business. I had 2 offices. I had, you know, I was going into the city and then COVID hit and I'm like, you know, I'm not going to expose myself to that. I'm not going to be around that. People were nervous about coming and sitting across the table from somebody. So it forced everybody into, you know, a new normal. Now my business is virtually online. I don't have the 2 offices anymore. I live up in this mountain and, you know, I have an office set up if people want to come up here. But sometimes, unless we're forced to do something, we don't make the changes. Mm-hmm. So you think about how many things you're missing out on in your life to really live the life you were meant to live and be the person you're meant to be. If you're not forced into the situations, you walked into it like, okay, you know, I'm gonna learn as much as I can about myself. I found a solution for a problem that I had, and I'm gonna share that message with everybody. I mean, that's a profound statement. You know what I mean? Like, that's huge. So, well, as we wrap up, I want to know how people can get in contact with you if they're listening and this resonates with them. Maybe they have questions for you about what you have. Maybe they have the exact same thing, or they're looking for something to help them provide a better life or a stepping stone into truly what it is that they want to do. You know, how can they find you?
Yeah, so they can find me. You can search for Better Skin, Better Life with Jo on Facebook. And I think if you go on Facebook at Joanne Oscar Skincare, that'll bring you to that page. And then on Instagram, again, you can search Better Skin, Better Life with Jo, or it's at Joanne Oscar. And then I do have a website that you can look at. It's bossladybio.com/Joanne Oscar. And it's JOANNEOSCAR.
And if you're listening to this and you're thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to write all this down? I'm going to provide everything when I share this, when it officially airs. And, I want to thank you for coming on and for talking about yourself and telling us, what your story is. And I really thank you about being passionate for helping other women, because the world needs more of us. They do. I mean, there's just so many people who are suffering now. They're looking for that physical connection. They're looking for somebody that wants to infuse themselves into their lives and help them believe in themselves and things. So thank you so much. And for everybody who is listening, until we meet again, live empowered, live inspired, and live intentionally. And that's just the way that I try to live my life. And it sounds like that's exactly how you're trying to live your life. So until we come back with another episode, thank you so much, Joanne, for being my very first guest.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. I truly appreciate it.
And I hope to see you all again soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye.